CW Wrestling Talk here on a Friday afternoon, um, before a SMS. What the heck is that supposed to mean? It's the social media smackdown that's been advertised for this Friday night, and you know all this promotion of this social media smackdown. And I'm thinking, don't we get a social media Raw and a social media SmackDown every week already? I mean, all the tout, and especially on this past week's Raw, all the twittering and tweeting, whatever people want to call it. Um, you know, I'm personally not, especially looking forward to this episode of SmackDown, and um, due to my busyness of my Fridays, I don't even know if I'll check it out later on YouTube. Um, but yeah, that's something for another day. The point I wanted to start off with is WWE they seem to focus too much on this whole social media thing and the show, and I think it's a bit of a problem. But what I wanted to talk about today here on TW Wrestling Talk here on YouTube, I wanted to talk about the WrestleMania card as it appears to be, so far. It appears that right now we have already about half the matches set. And unsurprisingly, they're the probably the four biggest matches that WWE's putting stock in this year's WrestleMania. Um, the most obvious one is The Rock versus John Cena 2. As many have continued to dub it twice in a lifetime, simply because they don't like it. It's their funny way of joking about it, I guess. But the the bottom line with this match is it's really easy to see where it's going. It has been really easy to see where WWE's going. Um, who in their right mind expects The Rock to come out of WrestleMania with the championship, the new WWE championship? Um, it just seems like there's no way that John Cena does not win this match. In my opinion, that's a problem. Um, you just like this past Monday on Raw, this match that so many people seem to praise, between CM Punk and John Cena, when to me it wasn't much more than John Cena's goofy, cartoonish mannerisms and a few moves that Jerry Lawler and Cole acted like they never seen done before, when they've been done plenty of times in the past, and some back and forth finishers. It wasn't much more than that, and to top it all off, it had a predictable outcome, the whole match. And that was a problem there, but this will also be a problem at WrestleMania because as they're fighting, as The Rock may try to cover John Cena after he does a finish or whatever, there's that thing thinking in your head where it says to yourself, okay, Cena's gonna kick out here. Um, okay, he just got rock bottomed. Rock's going for the cover, but Cena's gonna kick out. We know he's gonna kick out. That whole thing is gonna be running through your head the entire match, because there's simply no way that John Cena is gonna lose 2 years in a row at WrestleMania. With The Rock, going back to making movies on a more consistent basis, um, being absent more after WrestleMania, there's no way he's gonna walk out and win. Um, that's pretty much what we're left at. You'd love to see the contrary, and just in case, it's one of those things where you tune in. But the whole time, this is gonna be one of those matches where you're thinking, okay, John Cena's Just because he just got it took finisher, that doesn't mean he's not going to kick out. So that's a problem to me. And again, this is why I simply suggested after he won the Royal Rumble, I said, okay, well, let's at least do the at least fix this main event match at WrestleMania a little bit, and at least have CM Punk thrown in the mix. Make it a triple threat match. So then you at least have the a bit of an unpredictable element in there. It's not. It wouldn't then be a question of whether or not um, you know John Cena walks out or not. That's inevitable right now. At least there would have been a question as to whether or not would CM Punk take the title or would John Cena take the title from The Rock. At least there would have been that element to it. But WWE decided not to do that, and I gotta give them one of those for it. And so instead, they decide to go on with this one-on-one, pretty predictable match where John Cena redeems himself, and it's to me this is one match that's going to this is one match that's going to disappoint without question when basically know the result well ahead of time. And then of course that with bringing up CM Punk, that brings actually before I bring up CM Punk, let me go through a few of the other matches. You got Triple H and Brock Lesnar. It's inevitable that they're gonna rematch. And again, Triple H hasn't won at WrestleMania in a long time. And again, Triple H, Brock Lesnar already beat Triple H at SummerSlam. Now that they're gonna have this rematch, I don't think it could be more obvious that the intentions here are to have Triple H get his redemption and revenge on Brock Lesnar. That was I think it's pretty evident right now. You just don't you can't really see why Brock Lesnar would win again. But again, it's one of these situations where I guess I'm going to be rooting for the unpredictable to happen because that's more interesting. When you have such a predictable match like this, it's unfortunate. It's a buzzkill in the match because you're just each time you're waiting for the guy who is going to win the match to kick out. Every time you anticipate it, you anticipate those kickouts that everybody's like, oh man, I can't believe he kicked out. So again, this is not a good match here. I mean, from a standpoint of being on the grand stage, we know where it's going. That's the problem. And unless WWE delivers some upsets here, some unpredictability, it's this and the John Cena and Rock rematch. These two rematches are not going to be too well. They're not going to help produce such a great WrestleMania that King and Cole are going to act like they're delivering us this year. So it's another problem. Then then you got the World Heavyweight Championship match. Well, first let me go back to CM Punk now. So right there, that's like two Monday Night Raw, sided main event matches at WrestleMania. The WWE Championship match, Rock and Cena, and then right there behind it, is Brock Lesnar and Triple H. Again, two guys that are part of Raw. CM Punk, this basically inevitably leaves CM Punk to facing The Undertaker. We know The Undertaker's going to be back, or else King and Cole, or, they wouldn't bring it up. Jerry Lawler wouldn't bring it up on this past Monday Night Raw. Oh, this is a time where all the rumors are circulating whether or not The Undertaker is going to come back. Well, I think that pretty much says it right there. Undertaker's going to be back. So, good one on Jerry Lawler's part there. And not only that, it was reported that at a house show recently, the Undertaker teamed up with Sheamus against somebody and got a win. So it's pretty inevitable there that Undertaker is back. They're just waiting for the time, and I think that time is going to be this coming Monday on Raw. I'm pretty sure he's gonna. I don't know where else they'd have CM Punk fit. Where else they'd have him in this pay per view, and you know, so they're gonna have him face the Undertaker. Now the past couple of years at WrestleMania, th- these matches with the Undertaker have probably been the most well received. The past 2 years. So, and this one with CM Punk might not be too different. As a matter of fact, a month ago on TW Wrestling Talk, if you've been tuning in, you might remember this. Um, if you don't remember or not aware, I'd encourage you to go back and check the episode where I discussed an interesting poll from the Bleacher Report. But again, it was about a month ago. Um, and it was a poll about which potential WrestleMania match would you be looking forward to the most. And I tell you what, I found it very interesting because the two matches, the Rock and Cena were in this poll. There were 8 matches listed, and it appears that 3 of these big ones are going to come true. One of them was the Rock Cena rematch. That got about 12% of the vote, which, if you do all the math, 12.5 goes into 100% 8 times. So that's really not an impressive figure there. Um, that's about an average figure if you think about it. And then Triple H and Brock Lesnar got like 5.9% or 6.9% or something. So that's pretty below average. Um, that's about 1 in 20 people caring, 1 in 19 people, caring about, that they'd want to see that match more than any other match. And then the number one was by a landslide. CM Punk versus The Undertaker is at 54%. So, it appears to me this is going to be the match that is most looked forward to. Um, at least people that, going, maybe in general. So you know, this tells you something that there's some imbalance here with the way, in my view, you want it so that, people are looking forward to every match, around as close to equal as you can, because let's face it, you're gonna have some mid card matches in there. You're gonna have a Divas match in there that people aren't gonna look as forward to, but these big premier matches, the idea I think should be to have them closer to as close to even as you can. But in this poll's case, you had one that was above and beyond all, and then every other match was kind of just you know a pretty low percentage. So I think that says something there. As for this match with CM Punk and The Undertaker, at least there's always like you gotta see it because you just never know if they're gonna have The Undertaker lose. When you have a 20-0 record at WrestleMania, and then he comes back the next year and tries to make it 21-0, where someone tries to change that goose egg of losses, in the loss category, it's interesting. Let's face it. And last year was interesting. Let's face it. The ending can be very interesting. Or when you think it's the end of the streak, and the Undertaker kicks it. That's interesting because you just never know. There's this element of it that you just never know. And that I think that's what makes these matches interesting, even though in the back of your head you're thinking the Undertaker's got to win. Um, and I think he'll win this match against CM Punk too. But there's always this element to it that just kind of pushes you to, okay, is the Undertaker gonna kick out here? This pin, like last year, I'm thinking that when he got super kicked and then pedigreed, right in succession. I mean, that was a bit insane if you think about it. Oh my God! That was quite a moment, and you just didn't know what was going to happen. But the way it just seemed like, okay, that's it. I remember sitting there watching that, thinking that, um, or at least I think one of my friends said that, and said, "Oh, that's it," but it wasn't, and that's the cool thing about these matches, at least these Undertaker matches. So I would have personally rather seen, like I said, I would have rather seen the triple threat match with CM Punk and John Cena and The Rock, since they have to have John Cena in every WrestleMania main event since 2005 or whatever. That's at least how I would have done it. Would have been a little more unpredictable, and it probably would have saved an extra spot on the roster, or on the match card for WrestleMania. Because I would have had the Undertaker face Brock Lesnar. I think their styles, the brutal style of Brock Lesnar matches up with Undertaker a little better. Um, two, big veteran guys. They've fought before, a while ago. There was that whole tease in UFC when they kind of stared each other down and whatnot. Um, so I would have, maybe they'll do that next year. Um, maybe it'll never happen, but I was pushing for that to happen. I just think Brock Lesnar's style meshes a little better with the Undertaker than CM Punk. Just the style of wrestlers they are. Lesnar's a little more brutal of a wrestler. Um, so I think it would have made it interesting in that regard. So that, and then where would that leave Triple H? Well, I was thinking maybe have Triple H take the year off from WrestleMania, because he could always come back at WrestleMania 30. As big of a spectacle as will probably try to make that. I'm just not. I haven't been feeling Triple H for WrestleMania 30. I just have not been feeling it lately with Triple H. Because again, if they're gonna have him in this predictable rematch against Brock Lesnar, that you can't see how he doesn't get his win back. I wouldn't see the point. It's gonna take up a match slot that they could have used for maybe another marquee match. Um, so and then so that brings us to our fourth, kind of big name match here. Probably the fourth lowest on the the fourth highest on the totem pole, then, if you look at it. And that is Alberto Del Rio defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Jack Swagger. And my thoughts on this match in just a sound bite is quite simple. It's really it's pretty bad when they have a guy like the Miz turn face, and then shortly thereafter they have Del Rio turn face, and the one guy who has probably a lot more potential as a main event face in the company, the Miz. They relegate him to simply mostly doing these, his Miz TV segments, which sometimes are good. If they give him the right material, he's good. And I remember a few of the early ones, he was good. Since once they turned him face and once it was obvious. But other than that, I mean, what did they have him in, like 2 matches maybe since his his little role in Survivor Series? I mean, I don't know. But this whole thing, like, oh, he's a journalist and and whatnot. It's not working. I want to see him as a main event. I want to I want WWE to give him that opportunity. Just like I want him to give Wade Barrett the main event opportunity. That they're not giving him. I mean, to me, it just boggles my mind how they've thrown these guys on the back burner. When we need to see what they can get. That WWE should be trying to see what they can get, perhaps in the main event level with a lot of these guys. And then the dumbest thing is the WWE, the two guys that they pick, this WrestleMania season, the two guys they try to see this, what I'm talking about, in, they pick Alberto Del Rio, who's probably one of the furthest from, as far as having potential from being a true main event guy. They pick him, and to a lesser extent, Jack Swagger. The problem with Jack Swagger is his mic work. I've said it before, and I continue to say it. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Listen to him talk on the mic. And I don't have a huge thing against the guy, but just his mic work is not good. And the problem is they try to have him, speak. They don't, they should probably have him. They should probably have Zeb do all his talking and just not really have him say anything, that unless it's not gonna sound, ridiculous and lispy, and it's just, something has to be done there a little bit. But they repackaged him. His wrestling, is decent. His style's a little more brutal. So, I don't fault them totally. But there's just other guys in the roster that they could have, there's other options out there. So, we might see a cash in after this match at WrestleMania, but the bottom, and it's not it's not a very predictable match, at least. I'm gonna hope Jack Swagger wins, because even though I don't see him as quite World Heavyweight Championship material, I'd see him closer to that than Alberto Del Rio is. But we'll have to wait and see. But again, this is a match with two guys who you're not totally sure how over they'll really even ever get. So these are four big marquee matches here at the grandest stage of them all. And I'm not feeling it with any of these matches. Maybe a little bit with The Undertaker and CM Punk. But my point is, with all four of these matches, there were definitely more alternatives, better alternatives to these matches. And I've explained it already. And again, Del Rio, personally, I just don't see him really fitting anywhere in this card. If you were to ask me to put together WrestleMania, before he became world champion, in all honesty, I don't know if Del Rio would be a part of that WrestleMania. It's as simple as that. There are other guys. Now I wonder where Big Show is going to stand at this WrestleMania. Where has he been now? Now that they've had him drop three straight matches to Del Rio, where do they have him? He wasn't even on Raw the past couple weeks, I don't think. He wasn't on it this week. I don't know where he stands now. And, a lot of people like to hate on the Big Show. I don't know why. People they want to go ahead and hate on the Big Show. But mark my word, along with CM Punk, he's been a blueprint for what a heel should be in the WWE. And it helps to be a 7-foot, 440-pound giant. And it helps to be as experienced in the business as he is, certainly. But he's been, at age 40, he's been CM Punk's been a blueprint in his own regards since he turned heel. Um, and he was before that when he was a heel as well. But Big Show has been another blueprint. His style of being a heel differs from CM Punk in some ways. He's been a blueprint, essentially. Um, and I don't. Who knows where he's going to be on this WrestleMania card now? Now it just seems like we're supposed to forget about him, and I don't understand why. Um, so that's that. Now you wonder where guys like you know, I would think Ryback is gonna be in some gig with the Shield. Maybe Orton and Sheamus. Maybe that'll be the match at WrestleMania. Maybe this is where Ryback helps lead his team to victory here. Maybe the Shield loses a match after all, and it doesn't look too weak. I would think because they did already get some big wins, so it's maybe they'll lose at WrestleMania, and all will still be well with the Shield. But so you figure you're gonna have a match like that. You're gonna have a Kane and Daniel Bryan match somewhere on there. You're gonna have a Divas match. So that's 3 more matches. Um, that's 7. So that leaves one match, I guess, between the Intercontinental Championship, the U.S. Championship. That might be it. They've taken up some space here. Um, you know, th- there just might be a little too much clutter for this year's WrestleMania. That maybe they could have spared a match. I don't know, but it seems like they've taken up a lot of space in this WrestleMania on just those 4 marquee matches. Um, so it's you gotta wonder if they maybe took up too much space with all these veterans and comeback. And I don't have a problem with any one of them. I don't have a problem with Triple H. I don't have a problem with Brock Lesnar. I don't have a problem with The Undertaker. I don't have a problem with The Rock. But the thing is, all 4 of them, the way they're using them, they that's 3 big matches that they have taken up. They have the World Heavyweight Championship match. Aside from that, which is mediocre quality. To me, 2 mid-carders. Now fighting for what has been kind of relegated to a mid-card title, essentially, ever since they had to take it off Big Show. They made a stupid move, and since we don't know when Dolph Ziggler is going to cash in, but he's been kind of like a mid-carder now, anyways. It's like he was heading towards main event city, and now it's like he kind of reverted back to being a mid-carder, to being on the show, you know, kind of sparingly, not being an integral part. Um, they kind of this past Monday on Raw, they kind of fed him to Ryback. No pun intended. But so it's I'm not. I would have thought WWE would be doing better than this heading to a few months ago. I'm thinking, all right, they can do some good moves here. They can make the right decisions, and yeah, they're kind of they're kind of not doing as good as they could be for this WrestleMania. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to when after John. I'm looking forward now to seeing who John Cena loses the title to, like Ryback. That'd be interesting. I'm looking like forward a few months now because this WrestleMania to me it's not going to be too great. Um, I'm looking forward to when they have someone else world heavyweight champion. When they have someone who I can take more seriously as a champion. So that this WrestleMania doesn't have me looking forward to WrestleMania. It has me looking forward to time after WrestleMania. And that's unfortunate because Lesnar and The Rock may not be around by then, and I'm a big fan of theirs. So just goes to show you that they might not be making some of the best moves here for this WrestleMania. So right? We'll see what else plays out. We'll see what new matches come to full circle in the coming weeks. But right now, things aren't looking to me as good as they should be. The way WWE's putting this pay per view together. So stay tuned for more TW Wrestling Talk. And thanks for tuning in as always. And I encourage any feedback that you may have, any comments or questions, or anything you'd like me to discuss here on TW Wrestling Talk is certainly welcome. So thanks again for tuning in.